We are using these 3 colors today, plus basic beige. We have pecan pie, Cajun craze, and crushed curry. And we're going to make a fall card. The card itself is pecan pie cardstock, and I have some basic beige for the inside. I plan to do cutting, some fussy cutting of this tree and put it at the bottom on the inside. We may not do that on camera. I also have different colors and images and different colors of cardstock. Crushed curry, Cajun craze, pecan pie, basic beige, and I have a piece of the autumn, what's it called? I'm not sure it's called autumn trees. It's called autumn twall. The autumn twall designer series paper that we are going to be using as the background for our card. Set that over there because we don't need to do. Actually, I'm going to try to see what happens when I cut out the arch. If it will cut out from 2 pieces of paper at once. We'll see. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And then we're going to pull up the big cut and emboss machine today. And I am just going, we are stamping the tree on pecan pie. Pecan pie on pecan pie. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the big one, and pull it up here. Plus get the cutting plates, and we are going to cut our dies. Okay, this is the experiment. I want an arch out of my basic beige, but I'm curious to see if I can also cut an arch at the same time out of the designer series paper to maybe use on a later card. All right, let's see how that went. And it did. So there, my front is now just that. And I have 2 arches. One that I'll be using on the front of this card. And one that I'll put aside for another card. Okay, and now we are going to cut out some leaves for our trees. We're going to do both Cajun craze and crushed curry. I will be able to pop that out of there later. But we're not quite done with our die cutting. I'm done with that, and then I'm going to try something on this, and if it doesn't work and I hate it, we're going to re-stamp the tree and try it again. And I'm going to lay the detailed die over the tree with the frame die around it, and I'm gonna get my, well, let's put the frame on first. And throw the detail die in there, get my washi tape. And tape it in a couple of places and then send it through. We'll see how it went. And this is what came through. I like it. A little bit of the stamped image shows through, and there are pieces that need to come out. And I am going to change this, hopefully. Okay, by putting in my die tool into my take a pick and flipping it, or taking the end off the paper piercer so that I can just roll it and hopefully get a lot of the little pieces out, but then go back in and see if there are any that need poked out. Okay, and there's our tree. Now, we'll try the same thing with our leaves. It's a little harder when it's an adhesive-backed image. And I, again, did not try to run it multiple times through my die cut machine. But this will help at least loosen it from the cardstock. And then I have the Cajun Craze one to do the same thing with. Put all that aside and I'll pick it up later. And there I have the 2 sets of leaves. And we're probably going to figure out a way to get them both on there. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to get my adhesive backing off of my Cajun Craze. Actually, I want to put my crushed curry on the bottom and the Cajun Craze on the top. A little piece of crushed curry that came apart. This is just me being lazy, not wanting to switch my paper piercer to my label, but I think I will. To my spatula. So, it does a much better job with the spatula grabbing the edge of the adhesive backing, so you can just pull it off. And then flip it back, because there are little pieces that I just want to poke out. So I wanted these to go on back of where I'm going to end up putting things. So we will just put those there. I have a few more little pieces to poke out. And these go over here. And this one goes up at the top. And then we're going to get our Cajun Craze leaves on as well. Okay. Now, if you wanted to just make a tree with one color leaves, this is what you would end up with. But I am going to add some of the Cajun Craze leaves as well. And we'll poke out whatever little pieces that we want poked out of this. They're sticking to my finger, of course. That's what's right behind them. So that's where they're being poked out onto. Okay, now where do I want to put these leaves so that you can see both colors? And there we go. There we have both colors of leaves. Now, we're going to put our card together. I'm just going to glue down our patterned paper that we have cut the arch out of. Going to glue it right on the front, and we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of our arch. Those are my tiny ones. I'm looking to see if I have another thing of... No, I don't have any more big ones out here. So we'll just take the edges. One right there, and one right at the middle, and a couple of the tiny ones came along for the ride. Okay, so far we have the front, only have the inside to finish, and I have cut this tree from the Designer Series paper. And so I'll just be putting that on what will go on the inside of our card. And then I'm going to glue this on the inside. And then I'm going to be done. Hopefully we can make it all the way to the end. But even if we don't, I am not coming back filming again today. Okay, here we go. Here is the front of the card. It is on an arch. Can't really tell, but it is. And there's a tree. Open it up, and there's a tree fussy cut from the Designer Series paper. That is also what's used on the front. And there's the inside. I hope you enjoyed this. And